Betazoid in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look at Cleveland Book. Oh, hi! Time sure flies when you're reading an ancient Betazoid manuscript. An all-new edition of The Ready Room with David Ajala starts now. Hey nerds, I'm Wil Wheaton, and this is The Ready Room, your official behind-the-scenes hub for the Star Trek universe. Okay, can we talk about how cool the Eternal Gallery and Archive is? Yes, of course we can. That's kind of why we're here. It's just so cool. And in just a little while, we will take a behind-the-scenes tour of the galaxy's most mysterious library. However, we will be walking through a maze of spoilers, so I am calling for a black alert. If you haven't seen this week's episode titled Labyrinths yet, book some time with your favorite screen. You've earned it, and stream season 5, episode 8, then return to the Ready Room to dig through the archives with David and me. Before we get there though, I am so excited to chat with David Ajala, who plays Cleveland Booker, about all of the major turning points in this week's episode. Control room, engage. David Ajala, welcome to the Ready Room. It's so great to see you.
Will, always a pleasure, man. You know this.
Thanks so much for being here with us today. We have so much to cover.
We do.
When we encounter book this year, and we kind of pick up book story, as far as book knows, there are no connections left to his past. And now we find Maul.
Enough with the Cleveland Booker. Why me?
Because I'm Quajon. Everything I cared about out there is gone. And he may have been a dad to you. He was a great mentor to me. And like it or not, that makes you just about the only family I've got left.
There's a potential redemption story for Maul that's happening all season long. And I feel like Book and Maul have a similar redemption opportunity. Do you want to talk about that?
When I read the scripts and I read that Mole would be the character that was, like, quote unquote, loosely Cleveland Booker's sister.
Yeah.
What was so powerful about it is, I think to a degree, Cleveland Booker had to very peacefully walk away from a very, very painful past and embrace a new past. And it's not to say to disregard it, but it's just, you can't have the past outweigh the wonderful possibilities of the future. And I think he's committed to being the best version of himself. Not the perfect version, but the best version of himself. So now, having Mole enter this equation throws a wonderful spanner in the works, because it gives him an opportunity to, dare I say it, tap into a lot of unanswered questions. It's like they're trying to seek out information from one another to be able to allow them to understand why they are who they are and where they're at.
I'm going the wrong way, aren't I?
Yes.
This week, you got to put on a different character as the avatar that guides Michael through the Eternal Gallery. Earlier this season, I had a wonderful conversation with Wilson Cruz about playing Janal. And I commented to him that there was this moment where I felt like I'm not watching Wilson, who I know. I'm watching this ancient Trill character. And I felt from you a completely different energy, a different posture, a different self-image. Talk to me about bringing that avatar to life and those scenes in that beautiful set.
In all honesty, there's many things that really inspired that, the choices and that journey. What was really, really exciting was the opportunity to be able to do something that was very unfamiliar to Michael Burnham. This character avatar book had to represent an energy in the right time and the right place that challenges the core of who Michael Burnham is. And what was really interesting, that it would be Avatar Book playing that role, is intimately, spiritually, I think Book knows Michael Burnham deeply, very, 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 very well. But now, being able to be an Avatar Book creates somewhat of a distance to be able to ask questions very objectively without any emotions or history being part of that dialogue. I have to say, with SMG, Sonequa Martin-Green, she is a force and so wonderful to work with. Absolute gem. And she always arrives with the energy of maybe something special is about to happen. What I found profoundly very, very moving is there were some moments when we were rehearsing, and then thankfully the camera was rolling, so we just filmed it, where it felt like Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin-Green, because it can overlap, was doing some soul-searching, unpacking right in front of me.
Wow.
A privilege to see, but also very uncomfortable because it's so raw. And that just speaks of the talent that Sonequa Martin-Green is. She goes there and she commits and she always elevates. She's always so gracious and so kind and so giving. So as much as you notice the work that I'm doing, Will, in these scenes, it is imbued with so much love because of Sonequa Martin-Green.
The set that y'all worked on, that Eternal Archive, is so beautiful.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, man.
We here in the Ready Room are so enamored with it that we actually built an entire behind-the-scenes package for you and me and for the audience to check out. So take this closer look at the Eternal Archive and Gallery.
Labyrinths of the Mind.
Episode 8 is where, if she passes this test, it will be the very last clue to put all the pieces together to give us the map of where whatever it is that we're going to find is there.
At the University of Toronto, they have a thing called the Rare Book Library, which is the third most important archive in the world.
This library houses some of the oldest books of literature on the planet. It's amazing.
They have like the original first English language book ever printed and things like that. Extremely rare, very important, very valuable stuff. And they've never permitted filming ever.
For that particular episode where Burnham is in a bit of a mindscape, a library felt like the perfect emotional environment.
It was gorgeous because we needed to believe that this library could be a labyrinth and a labyrinth of the mind.
It was amazing just to be on location at that library, the Thomas Fisher Rare Book Library, but also to have this crisis of consciousness. Burnham had to ask herself the toughest questions.
Where are the places that she's challenged? How honest can she be with herself? Can she look at herself critically?
I'm gonna finish this mission, and you are going to help.
Throughout that whole episode is about Michael Burnham doing the inner, unpacking, necessary work. And it's the work which good leaders need to do to be effective leaders.
Ultimately, we landed on it being the avatar of Book because that is her primary relationship this season. So it just felt like it made emotional sense that he would be the one that she would try and talk to about these things, and that he would be the one who would kind of come forth in this mindscape.
Hello?
I'm at a really good part.
The energy of this character felt very different to Cleveland Booker. Not only would that help Michael Burnham, but I think it would help the audience. Michael Burnham would become the eyes for the audience. I thought that was really, really important.
We get a glimpse into Burnham's soul in a way like never before.
I'm the program Dr. Derek's created.
So why do you look like you?
My form was generated from your subconscious. So you tell me.
We get to hear these deep fears. It is a true story, and it is an authentic story. And of course, the truth of the matter is that there is no proving or fighting that needs to happen. You matter because you matter.
By the end of the episode, Michael Burnham will understand that she can be great, strong, courageous, broken, weak, vulnerable, all at the same time. And these things can all coexist, and you can still be a great leader.
The third most important historical library in the English-speaking world is the set you are performing on. Is that as much of a trip as I think it is?
I've seen nothing like it before. It was so, and of course, during takes, when possible, because Sonequa and myself, we have a love for Shakespeare and literature, so we were walking around in the library and seeing some of Shakespeare's original books. Some of them we were allowed to look at, had to put on gloves and what have you. But there was something very special about this library. It had such an abundance of history. We felt like we were a tiny little drop in the ocean.
You performed in the Royal Shakespeare Company with my captain, Patrick Stewart.
That's right.
I want to tie these things together. Shakespeare, Sir Patrick Stewart, this entire season, the Next Generation episode, The Chase, that kind of plants the seeds that this season of Discovery is now harvesting.
I've said it before, Star Trek is an heirloom that gets passed on, a baton, as it were.
Yeah.
It's passed on, and we see it morph into different iterations of it. And even when I first worked with Patrick Stewart, it was 2008, Royal Shakespeare Company. Mm-hmm. And I have a very, very lovely relationship with Patrick, because it's a relationship that has existed from 2008, where he was actually the one who was my introduction to Star Trek. And the only reason why he became my introduction to Star Trek is because sometimes when we had a bit of downtime, when we weren't rehearsing, doing the play, he would very fondly speak about his experiences working on Star Trek.
Aw, I love that.
And there was just something about the way he spoke about the franchise that just felt so pure and lovely and just warm that, you know, it kind of triggered my curiosity to just kind of check it out. And then cut to many years later to be part of the same franchise as Patrick, and then being at San Diego Comic-Con and then bumping into him, and then just kind of talking and just, you know, going over previous conversations that we had, and then later down the line bumping into him at BAFTAs and doing special dinners and whatnot. It's been that much more special because Patrick was my introduction to Star Trek.
David, there's just 2 episodes left, and I have an exclusive clip for next week's episode for all of us to watch together. And we're going to do that right now. The Discovery is about to go for a little bit of a bumpy ride. Check this out.
Coordinates are set, Captain.
Thank you. How's it looking out there, Tilly?
Long-range scans are unclear. I'm not sure why, but I can tell it's in an area of gravitational turbulence, so we'll need to be careful.
Discovery, this is Captain Burnham. Everyone to stations, prepare to jump and expect a hard landing. The Breen may already be on site. So eyes up. Commander Jemison, get us cloaked.
Aye, Captain.
Okay, let's jump. Red alert, Stamets, where are we?
Okay, I got us as close as I could with a margin of error in the nav system damage.
What the hell's happening to the view screen?
Those are gravity distortions.
David, as Star Trek Discovery is about to come to the conclusion of her 5-year mission, is there anything that you want to say to Star Trek at large?
I want to thank everyone who has embraced this journey with us. I thank you all, truly. I thank you for inspiring us. I thank you for being the best versions of humanity sometimes. I'm really looking forward to you all watching the final season, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be part of Star Trek Discovery.
Very well said. Thank you. David, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
Pleasure,
everything
Will.
you put into Cleveland Booker to bring him to life. He's been such a wonderful part of this story and such a wonderful part of this journey. Very much looking forward to the next time you and I are in the same place.
Absolutely.
Y'all, there are only 2 episodes of Star Trek Discovery left. I know, I'm dealing with it as well. And next week, I get to talk about episode 9 with the brilliant, wonderful Blue Del Barrio, who plays Adira, as well as one of my absolute favorite people in the world, and the director of next week's episode, Jonathan Frakes. Until then, I'm Wil Wheaton. Live long and prosper.